inside the 18. I'm Michael Magid, live from Hollywood, California. With me, you know him as Pro GK Academy, is the one and only Omar Zeenni, who is devastated that he has to put a Portland Timbers logo in the background.
We got a big win this weekend. I'll give myself that. We got I don't know how we did it against LAFC, but we did it. I was honestly thinking that maybe they played none of their players, but they played all of them, and it makes me happy.
Well, congratulations on that big win. I know the Galaxy did need that. Speaking of big time people right now, I'm honestly, this is really exciting for me because Memo, we go back to the coaching courses where I was humbled enough to be in the same course as someone of the level of yourself. And it's crazy when you go to those courses and you meet people and I go, oh man, no, I think this is just some coach from Colombia. And then you look him up and you go, oh my gosh, this is not just some coach from Colombia. This guy's a big deal. Guys, our guest today on the panel, you know him as Memo Valencia, Guillermo Valencia, goalkeeper coach for the Portland Timbers. Memo, this is awesome, man. I'm glad we were finally able to make this happen.
Oh, thank you, Mike and Omar, to have me on your program, and I'm excited to speak with you guys. And everybody's gonna be listening, and we're gonna share ideas and situations. So I'm pretty excited.
I mean, that's what I really love about this show, man, is like, I always try to tell people, I'm like, it's one thing to have an interview, with somebody and talk to them about, their career or, their styles or their ideas or their methodologies. It's another thing to have an actual discussion with the community of goalkeepers. And that's one of the reasons why we love to do the live stream so that people can throw in their questions, their ideas, all that sort of thing. But kind of before we go into the topic today, Memo, I kind of want just, for some of the audience out there who might not be familiar with you, why don't you kind of, tell them a little bit about what you do with Portland, your playing career in Colombia, all that sort of thing.
Well, yes, I came into the U.S. in 2001. I was playing in my country. I played in a very youth academy in my country, America de Cali, in the city of Cali. And I moved to the city of Pereira, which is my city. I was playing in a professional team from 1994 through 2001 until I moved to New York. I was trying to play a little bit in Mexico for 6 months, but it didn't work out. I was on a trial for many teams, but it didn't work out until I moved to US, and I started coaching in Columbia University back in 2002 until 2006. And I was doing some coaching, different clubs in New York. And then I moved to NYU University. So in Colombia, I was working with both programs, with men's and women's teams. And then I moved to NYU only with the women's program until 2010. And that period of time, I take the course with you in 2008. 2009, I don't remember when we took the course.
Yeah, I think it was like around 2008. And my favorite thing is that people go, oh, you took that course in 2008 and you host a podcast now and other people are MLS goalkeeper coaches. So clearly some other people took it a little more seriously than you did, Mike. So, but no, man, I mean, it was honestly awesome to have people like yourself just to learn from in those courses, like I think we learned just as much from each other as we did just from the instructors,
I think in overall in life, you learn anywhere you go,
Yeah.
When you play, when you coach, with the courses you take. So it's life, you learn from everyone and you enjoy those times. And as you say, you don't know who you're going to meet that day. And now we are here again. So, so after that, I moved back to Columbia University in 2011, only 1 year, and I moved back to Seton Hall. So I moved to Seton Hall for 1 year until Cosmos started in 2013, and until 2017, and then we moved to Portland as a first team goalkeeper coach in 2018. So in that period of time, on 2002, 2003, 2004, I played for a team in Long Island in New York called Westchester Flames. And in 2005, I played with Gio Savarese, who's the head coach now, Wilmer Cabrera, who's a good friend of mine. He introduced me to Gio. and then we start playing together in 2005. And then I started working with Gio from time to time on his academies in New York. And then back in 2009, 2010, Cosmos and New York Cosmos merged with a club called BW Gachi in New York. So we worked for about 1 year with those clubs. They merged again, but I still in contact with Gio. And then when Gio started with Cosmos in 2013, so we started in 2012 finding the coaches and everything. So we started again, and now we're still working together since then. So as you say, people, you don't know who what's going to happen later, and that's happened with the head coach that we have now.
And that's one of the things that Omar, I've always, we've had these discussions, in the last couple of years in regards to Omar's obviously a little bit. I don't want to say he's farther behind in his coaching journey, because Omar's a fantastic coach, but he's younger than me. So, you've been learning firsthand, Omar, how important those relationships, building that relationship with the entire goalkeeping community comes in regards to finding jobs.
Yeah, no, I realized, at the beginning, you come in with an ego, you come in trying to prove yourself, and then you realize that it's probably not the best idea for your own development. It's going to hinder it, and it's going to stun it a little bit if you're trying to make enemies, or you're trying to prove to everybody that you're the best of the best, when really everyone's taking ideas and bits and pieces off each other. And I think that's the beauty of the goalkeeping community, is having people like Phil Wedden, Tim Dittmer, who are at the top, and they're showing us young coaches the way it should be done and the way we should be conversing and, self-critiquing and, asking people to critique our sessions. So it's been awesome.
Yeah. And Memo, I don't know if you know this, but we were right behind you a couple of years ago in MLS at a preseason in Arizona. We were right behind you when you were doing a warm-up session, and Omar was taking notes fervently there. I noticed that.
No,
I did.
Yeah. Yes, I usually the warm-ups are, it's a little strange when it's a warm-up in preseason, because a lot of times you have to do warm-up for the first goalkeepers, but when they finish, they have to go back to the other side when they have to do a regular session for the guys who didn't play, for the guy, maybe he played 10, 20 minutes and he feel like it, that he wants to do extra. So, but it's good, I always watch how everybody works. Obviously, I try to have my own style, because everybody, I think it does. But we learn from everyone. We learn from everyone on our position. It's not, nobody say I have the right words about goalkeeping in the world. So it's challenging, but at the same time, it's fun for me.
Yeah, no. So let's move kind of into this topic right now, because one of the reasons, Memo, that we wanted to do this topic is because Omar recently posted, what was it, about a week ago, Omar? Was it about a week ago that you posted this, the post in regards to short crosses?
Yeah, right around then.
Okay. So about a week ago, and it really made me start thinking about the fact that this is really one of the most dangerous situations for a goalkeeper to be put in. And it's something that personally, at least I just see, especially at the youth level, that I don't think we train enough. I think a lot of times, we're just training, long form crosses, crosses coming in from deep distances. But how deadly those short crosses are. So maybe for some of the parents out there, Memo, who might not, understand what we're talking about from a goalkeeping perspective, can you kind of explain what we mean by a short cross?
Short cross means a cutback for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Cutback into a short. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's one of the most difficult situations for a goalkeeper, even because you don't know who's coming behind. You know what I mean? You just go into the ball goes to a wide area, and then you go to your near post, and then you don't have time to look. So we always have those conversations on training with my goalkeepers, that maybe sometimes the guy take a long touch, and now you can see the runners, the defenders, and if you can give some information. Sometimes it's just no time. And sometimes the goalkeeper is one step out of the post, out of position, and the ball go to the far post. And once you run across the goal, you're missing a half a step of the goal where you can maybe make the save. So it's a really, really tricky situation for everyone in the world. Sometimes you can make that step ahead, because maybe it's not a guy for the cross. So you're just gonna deal with a 1v1. So there's a very, very tricky situation dealing with those short crosses, for sure.
Yeah, Omar, one thing that obviously us as dealing with youth is obviously, Memo, you're dealing with high level professionals, who have very quick reactions and understand the game very well, is the difficulty of young goalkeepers. And Omar, I don't know if you've noticed this, that they want to jump. They want to jump because they want to kind of get ahead of the play. How do you work with them to make sure that they're patient in this situation?
Excuse me, what did you say? I thought you were talking to Omar.
No, I was.
Oh.
Omar, could you? Yeah, I was talking to you, Omar.
Oh, I thought you were talking about. I'm sorry.
No, I
so
thought you were, and I thought you froze for a second. I thought you were like this.
I was listening very intently, trying to figure out. But you're saying like jump, like they're not patient enough to let the play kind of play out itself.
Exactly, because that's one thing I've really recognized in these cutback situations is that a lot of younger goalkeepers, well, they go, okay, well, they're going to cut back right now, and they start leaning into the thing, and then all of a sudden they just expose that in your post.
Yeah, no, I think that's the beauty of tons and tons of reps. And for me, at least, and for the goalkeepers that I train, I think now that I've been further along as a coach, sometimes I forget the amount of reps that I personally needed to have, whether it's shot stopping, crosses, 1v1s, whatever it was, how many of those reps I needed to have and how many of those reps needed to go wrong before I figured it out. And obviously now I train a lot of kids on a private sector, so it's kind of difficult for me to get them those reps where they look bad in a sense because I see them once a week. And if they have that bad, in my opinion, they leave with that bad taste in their mouth. They're like, coach did this, and this, and I didn't feel like I got better. I just got scored on. I got exposed. And that's been that was my insecurity for the longest time. And now I'm just like, you know what? No. Like I've been doing it all wrong. Of course, you want to obviously expose them and make them better. But at the same time, too, you got to get them those repetitions, the mental reps, the physical reps to understand what it feels like to lean and get hit in your post, to lean and then that ball gets cut back and you're 1 or 2 seconds late. So for me, at least, it's been trying to get them to understand that it's a bigger picture, not to get frustrated by leaning or making a mistake on one play, but okay, we're going to run it back. Let's try and see what you felt you did wrong. Try and fix it right away. And that's been the beauty for me, Mike, and as you know, as I film all my sessions. So when I show them right off the bat what it looks like, they go, "Oh wow, I felt that I was leaning, or I was two-toe dominant, and my shoulders were coming, over my body. That's why it caused me to lean or to expose my near post." So getting that quick feedback, but at the same time exposing them and showing them that it's trial and error, and with those repetitions, they'll figure it out.
Memo, I have a question.
Omar,
go ahead, Omar.
I think Omar said to the right point that I did private lessons in New York maybe for 15, 16 years total, every day. And that's one of the difficult parts when we deal with 1v1 situations, when we have a goalkeeper just private session, because you need someone to serve the ball to you. You need an area of the goal that not always we have access to. And maybe sometimes, let's say, in the level that I'm working now, when I was in Cosmos or with the national teams, with the youth national teams, we have dummies, we have players, we have another 2-3 guys extra that will help. But when you on a 1v1 with the kid, it's difficult to do it more realistic. Sometimes when we do finishing with the first team, is when we try to take advantage of those scenarios, because it's more realistic. The ball comes on a hard pace, and it's a lefty, it's a righty, it's 3 attackers and maybe 1 defender, or 3 attackers, 2 defenders, or situations like that. So I'm agree with Omar for what he's saying about the more realistic. And also, a lot of times as a goalkeeper coaches, we worry too much about get set. It's important to get set, but a lot of times at the speed that the ball comes, it's no time to get set. So you need to run, and you have to figure it out on the run you're going, how you're gonna make the save with your feet, with your hand. You have to change direction to the other side. So it's all those scenarios that we have to take in consideration as well.
Yeah, Memo, you brought up a really good point, because a few weeks back we had Franz Hook on, obviously, and he discussed the fact that, in his opinion, getting into the proper area is much more important than getting set. Would you agree with that?
Mm-hmm. Yes, of course. You have to, as a goalkeeper, you always have to have resources. What resources means? Let's say if you're running across the goal, you have to start opening your hands a little bit, maybe because you have to change direction and go the other side. Sometimes we, as a goalkeeper coaches, a lot of times we so much worry about the hands position that a lot of times it doesn't work. So the goalkeeper, and then as a goalkeeper coach, you need to help them to go to those moments where they have to have resources. What resources means? Feet, hands, face, chest, arm, anything that is going to make the save. Because at the end of the day, that is going to be payoff on the game. That's going to be a 3 points or 1 point at that moment, or keep your team in the game. That is very important.
Go ahead, Omar.
No, I just want to add on to that point. I think that's been a really, really big piece to my vocabulary throughout this whole quarantine, and even during the sessions that I've been having, is like Memo said, allowing whatever movement you create or whatever you do from point A to point B, it should be that fast movement, but you also have to slow yourself down so you have body stability so that you have the opportunity to make a variety of saves. I think a lot of goalkeepers too often, they're going so fast that sometimes they can only use their hands because their feet are never set. Sometimes they're too jumpy, so they can only use their hands and never use their feet. So it's just one of those situations where I think, again, like he said, creating an opportunity to open yourself for a variety of saves, hands, feet, face, whatever it is. But it's that slowing down of your body and slowing down of your approach that you can not set, but you can almost facilitate the ability to slow yourself and then change direction.
Memo, I want to bring this up with you right now, and then Omar, you have a video you want to show, right?
I sent it to you because my Wi-Fi is not very good, but I think you have it.
Okay, so I can put that up. But what I want to ask you, Memo, is one of the things that Phil Wedden was saying, and we put up a clip about it this weekend, is that we really want to start, and again, he's not saying that this is right or wrong, but we really want to start trying to train in scenarios more so than training in topics. And I think a cutback situation is one of those types of scenarios where we need to make it a little bit more realistic to the game, in which case we change up the service and we vary up what happens in the play rather than dictating where we serve that play every time on the cutback. And Omar, I know that's something that you've been really trying to stress in this new time period post the quarantine too, is don't make that service predictable. So what are kind of some of the good options that goalkeeper coaches can use in a cutback scenario to kind of test goalkeepers and make sure they're staying honest?
That's for me now.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think as the other coaches say, the scenarios has to be different areas where you have to make the crosses, cutbacks, from the end line, not to the end line, with runners in front of the post, with runners behind, because a lot of times the cutback is close to the near post, and the keeper has to know that is a guy over there, and instead of running across, he just step up front and it's going to becomes a block. The other situation is a low ball in the ground, ball in the air, ball curving. All those scenarios, sometimes even the guy is a cutback and the guy had a bad touch and bad control, and that's a moment where you stop and you have to go again. So let's say sometimes in training, we try to simulate those scenarios. And sometimes because our goalkeepers play at such a high line that when we doing those type of exercises, even more on crossing and finishing, I made them go a little bit higher. Why? Because the higher you are, the longer you have to recover to be in the near post. So it's a lot of running for our goalkeepers. So we're trying to create those scenarios sometimes in training, and obviously the best assessment we have is when we have them on crossing and finishing with the group.
Yeah. Omar, by the way, I just realized, go ahead, Omar, were you about to say something?
No. I think what Memo is exactly right. I think for me, the biggest thing is creating those in possession, out of possession movements. And like Memo said, there's going to be a lot of those times where, like, let's say your left back takes a big touch or is going up the field, gets caught up the field, they're countering you, and now you're sprinting from the top of the D on the 18 back into your 6, and maybe then from there, back towards the near post. And once that happens, now you're having to, again, recover from bigger distances. Your legs may be heavy if you're coming in too fast. Your positional awareness, positional sense, you have to, figure it out on the fly, check your post as you're running. So it's like, yes, we can detail different services. But I think the scenarios that you're saying, Mike, is showing them, hey, from this is what just happened. The ball got played over the top. You're recovering from the 18 back to your post. And now from there, it's a live ball. It could go near post, far post, wherever, but really focus on that movement. And like Memo said earlier, create an opportunity to have different resources and a variety of saves and a variety of ways to intercept that cross. And that happens on your movement, figuring out where you are, your positional awareness, positional sense, and then everything else. That should be easy, but you should that'll give yourself the best chance to intercept the ball.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to bring up this clip right here, Omar. You kind of want to bring this down, and now we get to see the greatness of Memo Valencia in person here, because he gets to break down this game film right here. So, can
I would
you kind of
mute
walk
it.
us
I
through
think,
this?
mute it real quick, Mike.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. I think
okay.
Before we start, so this ball gets slipped in, and the goalkeeper already kind of has his hips slightly opened, which we kind of teach is to be a little bit more neutral with our hips, just so that if that ball does go far post, he's ready to shift. And I thought he did a really good job on this one.
Okay. So I'm going to play this here. So I'll pause it here first.
Oh, just kidding. He didn't have his hips open. Never mind.
Did not. He had a square. Oh, I'm not crazy about that arm swing. That's me though. But that's okay. So here, position right there.
Mm-hmm.
Square heels. So he was square heels even right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then he shifted.
Yeah. So what I liked about that is that so if you go back, Mike, what I liked about that is that he created a pathway. Once he did realize that ball wasn't going to be something he needed to cut off, he created a pathway by almost opening that right leg straight across, and now he's square to the field. So now his body can just go with that cross step straight across that line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Memo, thoughts on this?
No, I think he did pretty well, because obviously he made the save, and then he was able to go to the far post, and then he's already inside the goal and pushing the ball and pushing the ball out, because he's inside the goal. And then he, you know what I mean? With the momentum that you come in is really tricky too. Because a lot of times the keepers go and make that save, but it ended up in the middle of the goal and get scored on.
Yeah. No, Omar, what's this clip right here?
So it's very, very similar, but instead of, I think it was Crepeau, instead of him opening up that leg, he steps forward first, and then he almost goes in an arc. So he comes forward, and then he has to backtrack.
Mm-hmm.
So so there's no pathway for that leg his right leg's not coming across, so his left leg can't do a cross step across his body. So what I would say is, instead of, if you are going to be square, just making sure that you can get that right leg, the hip open, like we always train. And then if you have to, obviously square up. But if it's going to the far post, you got to cross step and make up that ground. So that right leg's got to get out of the way, so your left leg can come across and cross step like we saw in the first clip.
Yeah. And of course, you've got to show a rival of Portland Timbers in one of these scenarios right here, Omar. What are you doing right here? Putting Memo on the spot here, man.
Well, go ahead and forward it, though. I think you might see a slow-mo from a different angle. Yeah. Okay. So from right here, you'll see his first step is almost towards the penalty spot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There.
That's the
his
step.
right leg. His right leg is still in the way, so his left leg can't come across now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he has to take that left step forward, and he has to retreat back. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But he recognized that immediately. That's one of the things I noticed right there. Go ahead, Memo.
Also, I think a lot of times depends on the goalkeeper. Some goalkeepers like to be the way that the poet is, and they do it basically every single time. And sometimes some guys that give a little bit angle. The tricky part is that a lot of times if the shot goes across, maybe he has more chance to make the save across the near post. So that's why this is so important, that it's not right and wrong. You know what I mean? It's how quick you react, how quick you move in the goal to change direction from one side to the other, or how's your decision making. Maybe you can get the ball, and that first step on your right foot is ready to cut the ball in the ground or in the air. And Crepeau, I think Crepeau is really fast around the goal, around the area, and sometimes he exposed his near post a little bit as well. But it's his style of play, and then it's been working for him. So it's all type of training, goalkeepers' habits, in those scenarios that they trust, they work on it, and they some keepers, even they say on my country, I'm watching a lot of goalkeepers of my country. Sometimes the goalkeepers on my country likes to be too close to near post when the ball is far away. And I cannot say it's right or wrong. It's the way that they like it because they want to be honest on their near post. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so it's a, you know, always when you look at styles, a style of goalkeepers, a style of goalkeeper coaches, everybody's different. Everybody trying to and some people have success that way, and maybe sometimes it's a fail, but it's normal. This is a very how I can say it's a huge. The goalkeeping is big. It's huge. What we have to say all the time to them is just you have to be successful on what we are doing, and not always is going to be successful because the game changed from 1 minute to the other, from 1 second to the other. So it's tricky. This is a tricky scenario that we're looking at.
And Memo, I'm assuming also too that a lot of times when you're seeing, you know, when you're scouting a goalkeeper and you're seeing certain tendencies of that, a lot of times it's that they're playing that way based on the scouting reports that they had gotten or what they had been seeing prior in the game. You know, so that I think something too, Omar, is I think something that I think a lot of young goalkeepers need to take into consideration too, you know, when they're watching a pro and saying, oh, well, they're always doing it this way. Well, that might not just be the only way they do it. They might just be doing it that way because that's what the scouting report was telling them was the tendency of the other team.
Yes. And that's what we saw. I think I posted 2 days ago, or I think yesterday, we were watching Bingham versus LAFC, and you had a free kick, I think on the end, close to the end line, right outside the 18, on the left or on his right side. And I think it was Diego Rossi who was hitting it. And I think his tendency is to always try and beat the wall and hit it near post. So if you watch Bingham's positioning, very, very unorthodox. He's standing directly, like right on the near post, like almost directly behind his wall, when common rule of thumb would be, hey, from that position, let's drop off a little bit, let your wall do that job. You play the middle, play the difference. But he decided to step up and take the first third of the goal, and that far post was completely exposed. And that's what I wrote in the caption was, it could be the scouting report. It could be playing to his advantages. He could have been scored on near post before, so maybe in his head he's trying something new. There are so many different things, like what Memo was saying, is that you have to afford those goalkeepers that toolbox and the ability to, you know, file through that toolbox to figure out which tool they want to use based on the scenario. And throughout the game, I can use one technique on a 1v1 in minute 10, and then minute 45 I could try something completely different. I think I remember in college we played against UC Irvine, and one of their players got a 1v1 from the midline. Came at me 1v1. I came out. He megged me completely. Went straight into the goal, and I was like, "Man, I should have probably, you know, dropped my knee." And I can't believe I didn't do that differently. And then 30 minutes later, I had a very similar situation. This guy was coming from the angle, 1v1, same guy. He shot it. I dropped my right knee. It hit my knee, went out for a corner. So not to say that I always get megged, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I got megged once, but I used something different because I, you know, was able to file through those toolboxes and obviously make those little minor adjustments that I needed to make a save. So that's what it is, though. I think even on cutbacks, it's always going to be different. The ball's not always going to be weighted perfectly. The traffic that's incoming for that service is not always going to be the same. You know, all the things are going to be different, but you got to make sure you know how to do and handle different scenarios.
Yeah. And one thing I want to bring up with you, Memo, is that a lot of times is that it might be a mishit. It might be a mishit a lot of the times. And if you're expecting it to be a clean and you can't react to the mishit, I see this a lot of time with a lot of younger goalkeepers, is because they're expecting a clean hit, they're already moving like they would if it's a clean hit. And then it's a mishit and it's a cross, it's looping over and then it's going into the net. So do you work on that at the professional level? Do you work on a non-clean hit, a mishit, or a deflection off a block, those sorts of things in this situation?
Yes, if I understand you correctly, means like the cross comes and then someone trying to hit it and he's mishit it, you said?
So in the cutback, right? So the player hits the ball, and as obviously at your level, you know, it's very rare that it's going to be a direct play through where there's no traffic whatsoever. So a lot of the times in the movement of the shot of the flight, it's going to take a little deflection off a player, or a skip or something like that. So is that something that you work on with the goalkeepers?
Yes, a lot of times we trying to simulate those scenarios too, where it's difficult to see. There's when you put the dummies, and sometimes, you know, we use two type of dummies. We use the inflated dummies and we use the flat dummies. I think it's from, I don't remember, it's from Quick Goal. But my goalkeepers have a lot of difficulties where the big dummies are because they get blind. So a lot of times we work also in crosses, cutbacks with when you don't see the guy coming in, or it's a deflection on the dummy, or it's a deflection on the pole on the ground. So we're trying to simulate sometimes those scenarios that they have them to create a variation that not always is a clean header or as a clean shot. Or maybe now I'm using some type of rebounder that the ball hits it and it changes direction. And it's, you're trying to help us to give us some variations on those type of training. Correct. Yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think also another thing too, and then I kind of want to bring this this clip up here. Omar, I don't know what I just did right here, man. I tried to now I can minimize it right here. I'll share the screen right here with. Nope, that's not the right one right there. And I'm all over the place on this one. Give me a second here, guys. Sorry about that. Sorry about this here. Oh, there we go. Okay, so screen recording right here. So
that's me. So you can fast forward this part.
Yeah, we'll fast forward.
There's like a wait, hold on. Don't use this one. I'll show you this one after, only because there's like a league-owned video on this one, and I don't want it to get flagged.
Okay.
So use the other.
Which one? The one up top?
Yeah, I sent you the one.
Yes, this one right here. Okay.
Let's see.
How do I get this? How do I get this to play? Memo, we're very professional here, as you can tell.
Just screen record. So I think you got to do the screen recording to your your messages, and then double click the video I liked.
Okay. So screen recording to my messages.
I have to clean up this audio.
Yeah. This is gonna be a lot of editing going on right here. I'm so confused here. I don't know how to do this, dude. I'm trying to figure this out here. What am I doing? What am I doing here?
I could try. I mean,
yeah. Why don't you try to do it, dude? Because I don't think I know what I'm doing.
Let me see.
Right here. All
right. I have it right here.
Good times here. People are like all over the place. Well, okay, while we're waiting for that, Memo, we do have a question here from John Hollinger, and he has a question for you. He wants to know how much, at your level, how much dialogue is there between you and the goalkeeper throughout the match?
Before the match, so throughout the match. So obviously, before the match is obviously a good information that we're trying to provide the goalkeepers, the scouting report to about the other teams. Hold on one second. I'm losing you for a little bit. Hold on one second. So through the match, let's say before the match started, they already know, they already have something on mind, how the team attacks or scenarios like that. Through the match is not too much information unless they can, let's say now is a possibility that maybe I can get out of the bench a little bit and say something if something is working or something is they have to see maybe a short goal kick or long goal kick. In the middle of the game, I try to give it three, four informations, like if it's a hard pressure, the set pieces or shots from distance or crosses, or where we can be dangerous in our counters. And it's not much information that we can provide through the match, because obviously the head coach is standing up and it's not too much information that we can give them. But obviously, let's say now when we were in the tournament in MLS back, it was 1 minute water break, but always maybe the head coach wants to say something. So we have to be very aware in one moment, a specific moment, where we can say, or maybe we can say, well done on this scenario, things like that. But it's not like you have ton of time to express too much to them, because obviously the moment that you have is really, really short. So you have to be really, really sharp with what you want to say at that moment.
Yeah, no. I figured that was yeah, we can see the clip, Omar. We can see it.
Yeah, perfect. So, I think to Memo's point, I think that's something that I had to learn as a coach early on at Cal State LA when I was there. It's my first time like a team setting, because I always did private coaching, and I came in always so excited to try and make this big difference and say the one thing that's going to get the goalkeeper to play the best that they possibly can. And sometimes I felt like I was, saying 5 or 6 points when I could have probably dropped that down to 1 or 2 points and really give them more substance than versus me just talking. And the coach was like, look, Omar, I appreciate the points that you're making to Alex, who's the goalkeeper, but understand where he's coming from. He's probably going through his own checklist of things that he did right and wrong in his head. And the last thing you want to do is convolute those to that checklist, but also give him more information to have to process. Then when he gets out there, he's thinking off of what you're saying versus his actual instincts. And so I think that's to Memo's point. I mean, I don't know. Steve is a great goalkeeper, and I'm sure you guys see. He always talks highly of you, so I'm sure you guys' relationship is very, very good. So I'm sure that you don't really have to say much, and he probably knows what you're thinking.
Yeah, and also, I think sometimes we can ask, what do you see? Because you see the game on your side. Obviously, you see the game calm, but he sees the game. He say maybe he sees the goal behind. They say maybe we need a little bit, open up more the center backs or things like that. That is going to help us to keep more possession a little bit, to get out of pressure, things like that. It's not much that you can say, because it's just no time, and also he's playing his game, and you give him a little bit information that is helpful, but it has to be very, very specific information helpful. Obviously, when the first half ends, maybe you can have specific moments that you can talk, but again, you have to be very clinical on the information that you provide at that moment to the goalkeeper.
I mean, Omar, and just to kind of reemphasize this and kind of put this onto the youth tip right there. I think even with youth, you have to be even more clear and specific and concise with the information, because their emotions are all over the place.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you.
13-year-old, yeah.
I'll be honest with you, man. You see all these movies, right? Remember the Titans and like these big football movies and these inspirational movies where these coaches make such a huge difference on these kids' lives. And obviously, I realized as I had gotten older that these movies, they have to condense it and they can't show you the full conversations or whatever behind the scenes stuff, because it is fictional, right? But you see these coaches, and I think when you bring it to reality, sometimes you think, oh wow, I want to have that same impact, like in the movies where the coach says something and it changes the player's perspective on life and changes their perspective on the situation, and it gives them all this motivation to go out there and play amazing. And then obviously in reality, you're probably doing more of a detriment to your goalkeeper or to your player by giving them too much information, versus maybe holding that in, and when you actually need to say something, you say it, versus trying to force something just to try and fit a narrative that this is what a coach is supposed to be doing.
By the way, Omar, I love the fact that your coaching knowledge started out with Disney movies. That's
no. No. But I think you watch these movies and you see what coaches are all about, and you see Jurgen Klopp on the sideline and even Mourinho and all those guys, and they get all super excited, and then you realize that that's their personality, that's how they get the best out of their players, and sometimes that those coaching points, they have to make a point because some of the players can take it, they have thicker skin, but the players who can't take it, they have to say it behind closed doors. So it's, again, knowing your personnel, and like we say about goalkeeping, and same thing with coaching, you can't see a coach do something or a goalkeeper do something and say, yes, I'm going to do that, without even understanding the context, because you never know why that coach is getting upset with that player. You don't know what kind of conversation they had prior to the game. You don't know what kind of accountability that coach has with that player, and if they're missing their assignments, whatever it is. So I think it's important too, is understanding that if you're going to try and emulate somebody, understand the context of why they're doing things before you try to I guess do it.
Yeah. Now, did you want to break down this play that's been up here for 40 minutes or?
Yeah. So in this play right here, it's a goalkeeper from the USL, and when we talked about cutback situations, hopefully it plays out without having any issues. But when I play it, he is already opening his hips up for that cutback. I think he's already trusting himself and understanding that, okay, from a certain position, that ball is not going to be hitting that first cutback position, but rather it's going to be square to the top of the box. So he already has his hips open, so he doesn't have to waste a step. So if you see him right now, he's already completely almost square to the field. Not square to the ball, square to the field. So he doesn't have to take that step that we've seen with the other goalkeepers, so they have to swing their right leg open to obviously open up the hips. He's already there, so now he's just square to the field.
Hold on, but I have a question, and I want to know Memo's thoughts on this too. Is it again scouting, right? Tendencies, right? Also organization of his players. Okay, the fact that there's immediate chase on that ball, does that allow him to open up his hips right there rather than close off? What do you think? What do you think, Memo? Is that the reason you think that he's opening his hips, because there's chase there?
Could be, because the way he's moving back right there. So stop. So he already saw, is because one of the things that I'm grateful to have is that when I watch videos with my keepers, I can have in the game, I can have the camera of
Broadcast.
the broadcast, and also this video camera that we have in the field. So we can see the camera behind, and I can see when my goalkeepers maybe can see the guys coming in the other side. You see, I think when that pass come, he already saw that there's a guy up front, it's a guy behind, and everybody was 1v1 in those scenarios. So he's providing information, and it's very good from him that he's pointing without watching, just pointing without watching and providing information. So I give a lot of credit to the guy here, but also, you see, maybe he is too close to near post, but again, it's the way he like it. You know what I mean? And some guys maybe it's a little bit cheating, and he gets caught on the near post. So a lot of times it's depending on you see, now look back again, go back a little bit on that clip. A little bit.
Is the same dude?
See,
Omar is the same dude?
yes,
Same guy. Yeah, same guy.
Okay,
Same
okay.
guy. He was dropping back. Go, keep on going. And now he looked back, you see? So he has to look and he has to look. So that's important. When you're not too sure where you are and you look, why not? Sometimes keepers already know, and now he goes, let's go back again. Let's go back a little bit. So he's looking.
Yeah.
He's pointing. And now he's too close to near post. And then now, once he goes, obviously it's a good header. It's hard for him to make it to the far post, you see?
And that's something I want to bring up with you, Memo, is because I was thinking about this. At your level, the speed of play is so fast that it's literally almost impossible to cover the back post in a cutback scenario. So you have to make sure that prior, as you see that movement coming, that you've got coverage on the back post, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. So it's important to, as I say, if you have time to give information to the far post, great. If you don't have time, you have to at least be in a good position in the near post in order to go and cross and go across the goal and maybe save the ball to the far post or to the near post. But at the same time, if the ball once you're running across and the ball is well placed into the far post, it's difficult for the goalkeeper to make the save. You know what I mean? Why?
Yeah.
Because the goal is so big, it's huge, but that's why we're trying to create scenarios for the goalkeepers not to fail during training, that when they go to games, and then sometimes we create scenarios on training, and this is important it's been important for me as a goalkeeper coach. Not always in the training session it's going to be working out for the goalkeepers. You know what I mean? So sometimes you train the goalkeepers and you trying to make them suffer, trying to make them have that, because we're so used to that. I want to feel comfortable. I want to make saves comfortable. I want to feel that I have confidence. Yes, it's good to have confidence, but the game is not always like that. You have to have the secure that you have to make sometimes impossible things possible, you know? And then there is when they gonna improve. Sometimes I get home and maybe I'm thinking maybe the exercise wasn't not working properly. And then when I look at the video of the training session, I see that they're suffering, but they enjoy and they be challenged themselves to do better. And that's what I take for me as a consideration for my day. So my day is not as bad as what I thought after I see the film. So going back to the question that the guy asked before, sometimes in the game, everything, as you say, Michael, everything happens so fast that you give a first stop until you go home, you sit down, you watch the game, and then you see, maybe my goalkeeper was right, I was wrong. You know what I mean? Sometimes we just provide so much information. That's why we have to be very careful of the type of information that we give to the goalkeeper in the game, because it's easy. You outside the game, you're watching things, but you're not in that pressure that they have. And I always say to my goalkeepers, I will give you a better idea, better information, obviously, when I see it, because everything is so easy when you look at the game from here. You see, sometimes you want the keeper to pass the ball to the wide area where there's no pressure. But remember, the way we see the game is is in sitting with water or anything you have to drink, and then it's easy. Easy. Everybody that way. Everybody can point fingers and do this, but once you in the game, it changed completely for the goalkeeper because it's decisions.
Yeah. No, I want to talk about that memo because actually you just brought up something that I never even really thought about. Is that I think that we need to start, and I think this might be what you're getting at, is that it's okay to have sessions where your goalkeepers fail, and we need to understand that we can have sessions like that intentionally because we want to see what they're made out of, basically, and see if it's a no-win situation, how they handle it and how they come back from it and how they can find ways to overcome the impossible, basically, because you're going to be thrown in situations like that in a game where, there's a 1% chance that you're going to be able to be successful in this, and you find a way to make it happen. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yes, because sometimes let's say we're doing a shooting drill, and one of my goalkeepers, because I'm not always the guy who shoots in training. I made them shoot. I made them take chances, left, right-footed, headers, competition, because I'm lefty. I only use my left, and then it's not only lefties on games. It's righties. It's headers. The ball comes like this. The ball comes in curve. The ball comes line drive. So the goalkeeper sometimes one of them shoot overnight and the ball go in, and they're no, that's a great goal. We have to make the effort to make that save, because sometimes the ball goes over 90 and they go and they fly, they make the save. You know what I mean? And then so sometimes they feel frustrated because the ball go up and out, nobody's gonna make that save, and then we talk. We have to. That's why we are keepers. We're gonna get scored. Everybody's gonna get scored, but it's the way that we approach to every single shot, to training, to all those scenarios that when you're training, you get used to. When the game comes, you're already used to all those scenarios. You know what I mean? So it happens a lot that, as I say, one guy shooting to the other, the ball go up 90, and the guy, sorry, and the other guy, golazo. No, you're trying to make the effort to make that save, but because when they made that save, they feel, and then obviously the ball not always on that area. The ball goes different parts of the goal, low, high, medium, knuckle ball. So I use soccer balls they're moving. So I take shots and the ball goes like this. And then the more they see it when they go in the game, it happens to Steven. I think was against, I don't remember, it was NYCFC or Philly. That is Philadelphia. One of the guys shot from the number 8, shot from outside the box, and the ball was moving, and he tried to catch it, and at the end he has to react to block it with his chest. And then we talked that scenario on the video when we watched the video after the game, and after the game, and obviously when we watched the video, and he said the ball was moving so bad, I didn't know what to do, and I just have to open my shoulder, the ball hit my shoulder. But it's something that I put them, not that I do that every single time, but one of these days, how they made the balls these days in soccer. They made the balls to score goals. So it's very difficult for us to simulate those, but we have to find the tools to create those scenarios for the goalkeepers, that once they go on those scenarios, they already have the calmness to act the best possible way. A lot of times the goalkeeper trying to catch those balls, and there when we see that the ball slips and go through their hands, and now we're talking about, so as I say, always we're trying to work with them in a scenario that is going to happen in the game, and it's going to help them to improve, to get better, but it's on us as a goalkeeper coaches. We can make thousands of exercises just handling and simple things, and I want to feel comfortable, but we have to help the goalkeepers to not always live in the comfortable life, comfortable situation, because the game is not comfortable. But once you create that scenario that you work on those moments and know how to work on those moments, make them suffer and then deal with it, their training sessions become fun, become something enjoyable that is challenging, because goalkeeper is a challenge position. It's a very challenging position.
I've got this right here, and I want to kind of bring this up. I want to bring this video right here, a couple of videos right here, Memo, with this because, you know, we've been talking about the cutback scenarios, and these are two opportunities where you're actually anticipating the play before it turns into a cutback scenario. So I kind of want to play this first one right here and kind of get your thoughts on it, and Omar's thoughts as well too. I guess Omar can give his thoughts too. All right. So here's how the play develops. Ball's played across. Keeper comes out, recognizes it early, and comes in and reacts and be able to handle it right there. So let me play that one more time again here. Again, this is more of a, this is a through ball scenario. This is through ball scenario before, but that player, the reason I wanted to bring that up is because that player had the opportunity to go down line. See, if he hadn't come out right there, that player could have taken that extra touch there, and then it could have become a cutback scenario, is what I'm thinking. You see what I'm saying? So this is just a matter of, because I see a lot of young goalkeepers, they'll hold in that position right there. And then either the player will look to slot it near post, or if they're already too far past that ball, they'll end up at end line, and then there is a cutback scenario where there's a wide open man on the outside there that can score, and that's kind of why I wanted to kind of bring that up. Thoughts? Anybody here? Yes, it's not a cutback.
I think it's more, Michael. I think it's more a true ball.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
But
look, I was trying to find some clips really quickly. Okay.
No, I can show you one. I can show you one.
Yes.
This year. So
yes.
You want to?
Yeah. You can share. Yeah.
As a host.
Yes, you can. You are a host.
Okay, so let me see if you can see can you see my screen there?
Not yet. No. Did you share it?
Hold on one second.
You should be able to share. Yep, you should be able to share.
One second.
Let's see.
So how I can
just press the green button to share screen.
Okay.
Share screen. Yeah, there you go. Okay, great.
So this is
this is much better than what I found on Y Scout. Here we go.
Okay. So the ball comes from one side to the other. So you're gonna see I'm gonna keep on going.
Okay. See, and that's a short cut back.
Got it? So it's a short cut back, but also he has to go from one side to the other. He goes there, he's set. And now he has to move his feet and make the save. So this is the other camera that I'm talking to you guys that I'm able to cut the video when I do the video with my goalkeeper. So the ball goes from one side to the other, and here you can see a better image. See?
Yeah.
And the more important thing here for me is the position of the arms.
See? So he's already got it. He's already got an extension there where he's covering that space.
Exactly. So I don't know if Omar can see it as well, but once the ball goes from here to here, his arm in a position that a lot of times we so worried, the goalkeepers got caught in two movements, which is hands up, hands low. And once you go with your hands up and hands low, it's a lot of time missing there. And Steven is in a good position with his hands. His hands never move up. It's low position, and he ended up making a huge save at that moment.
Yeah. What I like about that though is that I think I think it was not this save, but I think it was a save. I had messaged Steve, and I had him on my Instagram live like when quarantine had just started, and we were talking about those cutback situations and how sometimes goalkeepers get too stuck moving towards the near post and staying at the near post, and they don't give themselves an opportunity to make any far post saves, or that movement is so delayed because they're so close to their near post. So dropping off 1 or 2 yards with the idea that you can still get to the near post, but also too, like he did here, you're ready for that cutback situation. And I think when you look at Steve, again, as a young goalkeeper, if I saw that, I would say, first off, great save. But now as a coach, as I've gotten older, I'm realizing, wow, that goalkeeper one has incredible IQ because they've already seen the next play before it happens. So instead of reacting, they're already preparing themselves prematurely to the scenario that could potentially unfold. And that's, I think, a lot of young goalkeepers in this. It's our job as coaches to understand and teach these goalkeepers that, yes, there's a technical way to adjust to cutbacks, but until you understand the tactical, I could say that ball is, deep on the end line, most likely they're not going to try and, shoot it from there. They're going to try and cut it back. So ideally, your hip should already be almost open because that's their only option. So for me, it's like I already know the next play tactically what potentially could happen. So why am I going to wait for it to happen and then react? Why not almost prematurely react to it and keep myself ready where my hands aren't shooting up or shooting too low, but I open those hips and now I'm covering that first third of the goal with my hands in a good neutral position where, like Steve does in this position here, makes a great saves and digs the ball out. So that's what it is too. Like you said, it's not making it so pretty in training sessions where it's so straightforward all the time. But hey, look, there's going to be scenarios today where you're probably going to get scored on and you're going to be exposed because you're going to make the wrong decisions in tight spaces. But you shouldn't make the same mistake twice. I want you to get it out of the way now. We iron it out so that when you come into a game, you've already been scored on in training, so you won't get scored on in the game.
The other thing is that what happened if the goalkeeper gets caught on this scenario? Who will blame? Nobody will blame. Nobody will blame because obviously it's a cutback. You have to cover a big space, but the goalkeeper needs to be. I'm gonna point with the arrow. We need to be really good on these areas and really explosive on this movement. Every time the ball is on this, if this ball goes here, nobody was gonna blame you. But if we are very effective on training session, explosive and working on this scenario, the guy's is gonna be a lot of improvement from them. Because as I say, if this guy shots on this area, he has open net, there's no pressure, and then he will score. So it's important for the goalkeepers and us as a goalkeeper coaches to help them to go through that process. That this is a big time save for a goalkeeper and for every goalkeeper in goalkeeper coaches that see this, because obviously is a very difficult ball to save where the guy is shooting in front of the goal, and it's a huge goal. So as I say, a lot of times the goalkeepers have too many movements on their body, too many extra movements that at the end is not helpful when they have to make the save. So I have some sessions that I wanna share, maybe 1 or 2 sessions about cutbacks, all those scenarios. So let me see if I can find them here real quick.
See, this Omar. See, look at this. You've already got. See, you want to coach at the MLS level? You've already got the video part down. You've got all the videos on your on your laptop.
So
I do.
So let me keep moving. So this session was last year. Hold on 1 second. So I start pretty simple on, obviously not always I do a progression exercises. Sometimes I combine because depending on the day. So this day I want to do some cutbacks with the goalkeepers, working on those scenarios. So we start with let me mute it. So we start with a simple ball, shot, and then he make a save. So now he goes back, and now he has to read. Now he has time to go and put pressure to the next guy. See? So we have 4 goalkeepers at this point, which is very important for me as a goalkeeper coach to have more players, more goalkeepers to make variations. So it's a pass. Now he rolled the ball to me, and then now he has to go across, and he has to set. Depending on his touch, now he has to make a decision. Should I go? Should I stay? And he's covering the space. Yeah, very simple to create a little bit of, prepare them for. Now he scored a great goal there, and then now he's taking a touch, and he's going. So moving forward, This next guy is the guy is playing for T2 now, and is one of the guys that we have on the group. I cannot have it now because already it's with T2, and now he was trying to cheat.
Oh, yeah, he was trying to, yeah.
So that's something that I not always do, but sometimes I force them to think. I have to wait for the first ball. I cannot be moving ahead because sometimes we just go, okay, he's going there. Okay, I'm gonna move. So wait, be patient, you know. And then nothing happened. I just give him support, and now he made the save, and now he's going across, and now he has more time because the ball is low. Obviously, he dropped his leg right quick. Right. So now we're moving to the next scenario. I'm gonna move a little bit faster here.
Memo, one thing I want to bring up right now is that, I think it's great right there is that, and I want a lot of young goalkeeper coaches to see that, is that you let the scenario teach him rather than you have to tell him what happened. You let the scenario, he knows what happened, and the scenario showed him what happened. So therefore, he can process that in your head without you having to re-emphasize it in him.
Yes. Is obviously he's one of the youngest guys that we have, and I love to have him. And he's been with us for 2 years already. He started with it when he was 16. Now he's 18. He's already having games with T2. He's doing a great job with T2, and we have a lot of conversations with him. The other goalkeepers, Steve, Jeff, I'll just help them a lot to go through the process as well. He was with us in Costa Rica. And the younger, sometimes when we are young, we don't pass through those scenarios when we have to make them suffer as a goalkeeper coaches enough. So once they go and suffer and they deal with those scenarios at the earliest ages, when they get older, they have more experiences. You know what I mean? It's very difficult in US to have a U17 goalkeeper team going to play a first team match. The youngest that we have, I think, was the guy, 21 years old, played for Montreal, who's for Vancouver, doing a great job for Vancouver, but he's 21 already. So this is very difficult in America to have a goalkeeper on that age, to have an MLS match, a professional match. So this player, Hunter, he was with us in Costa Rica. He played 15 minutes with us in Costa Rica against Herediano, one of the first teams in Costa Rica. And then he's doing a fantastic job with us, as I say. So the young, why makes Donnarumma so good right now? Why Buffon was so good and why he's been so good all his life? Why Casillas? Because in Europe, sometimes they see the keeper is good at the age of 16, 17, and they throw him to play and have matches and so forth. Same thing in South America. So here, I think at some point it's gonna change, and it's gonna change sooner than later because the goalkeepers tactically and technically understand and where they need to be, because the standards of and the level is a high standards. So let's go to this one. Now, on this one, I add a rebounder, which is the ball can hit the rebounder and go here, or the ball can go straight to a guy over here. See? So he has to be more patient now. And a lot of times he's going to be ending diving, thinking that the ball is going to hit the rebounder, but the ball is going to go straight. Let me go on this side, which is a better angle. This is Kendall now playing for Red Bull. So the ball goes straight. Now he dove thinking that his ball going on, and then he has time to go and set. See?
Yeah.
So again, you can put this rebounder here. You can put it higher. You can put in a different scenario. You can go from here to here. All depends on the day and what we're looking for. See?
Yeah.
And would you change up the services, and would you change up the depths and the angles based on the goalkeeper that you're training to? Okay.
No. We change depending
okay.
on the day. We just
Okay.
we just that day I think was 32 minutes of session, maybe 40 minutes. What I do as a goalkeeper coach, working with the guys. So once they jump into the field, I have the field already set up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that helps me to save time, because sometimes I don't have a big space. I have maybe the 18 to the end. So I try to set up on that area my goalkeeper session. So they moving from station to station to station, and that creates a little bit more rhythm, you know? Because if I have 30 minutes of goalkeeper session, I don't have too much time. The time that I move the cones, that I move the rebounder, that I move the goals, it's just wasting time. So the goalkeepers are sharp of what they need to do. And when they go in, they know that I explain them what we are going to do, what we're trying to accomplish on that day. And if we're gonna be integrated with the team, if we're gonna do tactics or small side games, or all depends on the day. I always rely on what the head coaches, Gio, and the assistant coaches, we are going to do with the group. I already prepare my sessions, and sometimes I copy sessions from 2-3 weeks ago or from last year. But I try to want to have a variation on the goalkeeper session.
Yeah. Omar, how many notes have you taken?
No, what I like about it though is that obviously we talk about not making it obvious on cutbacks. I think it always starts off like, hey, we can put it on the end line and then work on their cutback movement. But even having this rebounder here, and even how Memo shot the ball near post earlier, it's like, yes, we have an idea of where the next ball is going, but if you're cheating or you're leaning or you're moving somewhere else, I'm gonna expose that. So again, it's like training them the right way. But at the same time, too, we're also getting the technique of opening those hips up and coming across the goal fast, slowing your body down. And like you said, it could be different depths. It could be a short ball. It could be a long ball. 2-touch from the finisher. If they take a big touch, what does your position look like from there? So while there is some, I guess, announced service, there is also other elements to it that keep the goalkeeper honest, which, again, that's what we see in games where it could take a deflection. And if you're cheating and it goes the wrong way and you're not balanced, you can get exposed. You can get scored on. So I like those little elements that you have.
Yeah, and what you say is important, Omar. That I know the goalkeeper know that the ball is going across, but if we prepare them to, it's going across, I need to go straight to be there first. No, you have to wait, because at the end your first priority is the goal, not the cross.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's those it's the checklists. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that's what I think.
No, go ahead, Omar.
Okay.
No, I posted something last week about a goalkeeper. I forget where he plays. I think USL League One. And I just showed the process that he went through. The ball got served in. It wasn't a ball that he could come for. He drops off to his line to create depth for either a header or a volley. And then that ball gets, served to the other side. And then he shifts to his near post. He gets set. The striker takes a touch. He advances a little bit more. And he makes a save at the near post. And I would just show the people who were following the channel. I said, look, as a goalkeeper, you have to go through every single mental checklist. There's a progression throughout the entire play. And if you're trying to get to progression 3 before you check off 1 and 2, you're going to pay for it. And I think that's my example here as well with Memo's points here, is that there are progressions through a cutback session or a movement in a game, and you have to respect all those little check 1, check 2. And then once it gets to 3, then your body goes there versus, advancing there too prematurely.
So something I want to bring up, Memo, is movement. Okay. Because I think this is one of the problems, Hector Castro had a question earlier in regards to, the fact that you had grown up, playing in Latin America, and you'd been trained down there, and that his thing was that movement was so important in Latin America when it came to training, and that he felt in the United States that our goalkeepers were very more moved in patterns rather than dynamic movement. And I've noticed that you seem to be able to blend the two, and I think that modern goalkeeping is that you blend the two together, is you blend understanding scenarios, understanding how to move in patterns, but also being dynamic in those movements rather than just moving like a robot, expecting one A to B to C, that sort of thing, right?
Yes. So one thing very important is a lot of times the goalkeeper works with a lot of tension. And a lot of tension sometimes it creates not make you explosive enough to make a save. You understand what I'm saying or no?
Yeah.
So sometimes as you say, robotic movements are very difficult to change direction. And it's important for the goalkeepers to, and for us as a goalkeeper coaches, when we work with them, to the goalkeeper has to be very quick, very agile, very fast. So sometimes we worry too much about muscle and all those things. We need to be effective, guys. We need to be good at what we are doing, because there's when we're going to have success. So a lot of times thinking that we need to be big, we need to be strong, but remember that the bigger you are, the stronger you are, the mobility that you're going to have is less. And then at the end of the day, the goalkeeper has to be very mobile, very quick, very explosive. So we have to combine. We have a very good communication in our club with the fitness department on that area, because at the end of the day, the goalkeepers are made to make saves to win games. You know what I mean? So it's important for us as a goalkeeper coaches to help them to go through that process. A lot of times the message is wrong when we say we need to be strong. Obviously we need to be strong. We need to have a good body to receive hits in the air, on the ground. But at the same time, we need to make saves. We need to create good habits. We need the game change from one moment to the other. And then sometimes it's hard to understand as a goalkeeper, because we are so young. We are so young. We go to college, we're going to see girls, we're going to see this, and then we're going to be tight, we're going to be without a shirt, we're going to show. But at the end of the day, if you want to play at the highest level, you have to be really good on all the scenarios, with your feet, with 1v1 blocking, with distribution, with communication, changing direction, and making those saves that is going to help you to go through the next level and the next level, and create to the process, and how I can say, like, trust the process. Because a lot of times we fail in some moments, and we have to go back and look what's happening, why we are failing. But a lot of times we are failing because this is not an easy position. Playing why soccer is so difficult? Why not too many guys made the pro level? Why?
I mean, I honestly think it mentally, it's probably the mental strength, right? It's just up here.
If soccer is a sport that is easy, or let's talking about goalkeeper position, is easy, everybody will make the position. Everybody will be a pro, but it's not. You know what I mean? So it's like it's like a funnel where it's 1,000 of people going through the funnel, and only 1 or 2 made it. And sometimes those 2 don't stay for a long time in the game either. You know what I mean? So a lot of times is some guys that are really good, they strong, they faster, they agile, but mentally they're not strong enough, and they lazy to work. Perfect, but they think they're gonna make it, and everybody think this guy's gonna make it. But if they don't change their mentality, they have to be hard workers. They have to be the first in the training, the last one in the training. Then they have to be mentally strong. They don't make it. And sometimes you see guys that they're not good enough. They're not agile, but what they have is they work, they suffer, they trust the process, and then they have personality. And at the end of the day, who made it? The guy
Steve.
Who trusts the process, who has a strong mentality, who it was not in the loop, and then he trusts on he suffer, he every training session he improves, and he trying to get better. And obviously it's a moments that everybody had a bad moments where, man, should I gonna make the pro level, should I not? So it's important always to improve every day on training, habits, get rid of the bad habits as much as you can, because all of us had a bad habits. When I play, things that I spoke with my keepers is, when I was younger, I always think that I have the truth, that this guy is talking to me now. And then now that I'm on another side of the field, that I'm a coach, I know that I was wrong at that moment. And if I listen what they say, maybe I couldn't be better. But again,
perspective.
I was young, and I didn't understand. And then we always think that we have the truth. we can have the truth, but obviously the coaches see a lot of things, and that's why the coaches are coaches and players are players, you know?
Yeah.
Oh.
Memo, how are you doing on time, by the way? Are you good? You good on time?
Good. I was about to show you the other video.
Okay. Pull it back up then. Sorry about that.
This is a little bit more
Because one question I have for you while you're setting this up right now is, what are some of the mistakes that goalkeeper coaches make when they're putting these cutback sessions together? And Omar, you can add on to that too, because I know that you've gone through trial and error on this. So.
Yeah.
Excuse me, what do you say? Can you repeat the question for me?
Oh, sure. So one of the things is when it comes to cutback sessions, a lot of goalkeepers, they go through trial and error. Their goalkeeper coaches go through trial and error, putting these sessions together, finding what works, what doesn't work. In your career, what have you seen are some of the mistakes that young goalkeeper coaches make when putting these sessions together that you would give them advice to try to avoid?
I think the most important thing is that they get the message. They're trying to get the message and understand the points, why we are doing it. Trying to do it at the speed of the game, they have to make a decision, changing direction, all those type of scenarios, service, different type of service, long touch, short touch, just one shot right away, all those scenarios that is going to help them to improve, because at the end of the day, cutbacks in the game can happen 2-3 times, but it can be 2-3 goals. You know what I mean? All those scenarios, and give the proper information to the goalkeeper about the scenario that we are working on. You know what I mean? The more you give them those type of, and sometimes you say, okay, we're gonna do this, and then when you go to do the session, maybe don't explain too much and see how they react, to see how they are without saying it before. You understand? To see how they react, to see how they react at that moment, what type of things they do, and then maybe make a correction. Something very important is, let's say at the level that I'm working, I try to correct, but I don't have too much time to correct because the session is so fast. And maybe with the youth, you have more time to correct. You know what I mean? And then we have more time to explain, obviously. But the good thing that I have, and obviously you guys can see now, is that I have the ability to have the video. So as I say to you, sometimes I finish the session with them and I go and I was thinking that the session missed something when I go out the video, and the video showed me something different, that the session was very helpful, Yeah. So on training, we have, if you see here, I have the camera. And I also have this video camera where I can see a little bit bigger picture. If I try to film with this camera from the bottom, I can see maybe more technical aspects of situations, but I try to combine both and have both for me reliable. Obviously, this is a lot of work, but I enjoy my time doing it because it's my time. It's my time when I do the videos for the guys and I do cut the videos for training. I enjoy my time because it's my work. Yeah. So this is a little bit different. They already passed through the session. This is at the end of the session. This is a low ball, and then now he gets up, and now he has 2 servers. See? So he had a server here, which is Jeff, and this is me in the far post. So this guy have a decision to give it to Jeff, or give it to me, or give it in the air, all those type of scenarios. And now we have dummies, and sometimes I get behind the dummy, and then Jeff is making the movement, and now he has to go all the way across. You see?
Yeah.
So it's important also as when we train with the goalkeepers that we can be standing still here. Jeff can be standing still, I can be standing still. But once you create movements from him and from me, now Jeff is moving, and Jeff can be the guy shooting, but Jeff is not shooting because at the end, everybody moves. Again, when we do this with the first team and finishing, crossing and finishing, is amazing because it's all type of movements, but we not always have that luxury to have this type of trainings. So we have to create our own environment that it becomes more realistic. And then when I started the club, it was difficult for me to create this environment because they were not used to. Now, my goalkeepers even help me to move this camera from side to side where we're moving because they want to see. Because when I send them videos to themselves about goalkeeper session, they enjoy watching it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's important that they all of us, the goalkeeper coach and the goalkeepers are involved in the training session. They help each other. If he score or he made a save, we support each other, we help each other, because at the end of the day, it's a benefit for all of us, not just for the guy who's on goal. The tendency here is that a lot of times when we are young, the guy here is, the ball doesn't come to me, I don't have to do anything. No, the more that we help each other, passing the ball, challenging the other guy, it's gonna be a challenging for all of us. You know, it's gonna be more successful for all of us. You know.
No, I absolutely love what you just said right there, because it was something I never even thought about working when I'm especially working with youth, is that how stagnant or just how stiff the player who's not receiving the service is, and how they don't make off-ball movements as if realistic, like in a game. And then all of a sudden the goalkeeper doesn't get used to that, or then it doesn't allow for you to play those other scenarios and all those sorts of things. So I think that's such a great point. Omar, I know that's something that, you've been working on with when you're doing your private sessions, all those goalkeepers, that they need to be moving off the ball and they need to be playing it like it's an actual game.
No, 100%. And that's the hard part, though, is that, like I said earlier about what, sessions where it's privates or it's groups, is that one, the field that I'm on is not amazing. So a lot of the kids that I train aren't used to even finishing. So having them on a really terrible field where it's like 5-6 bounces by the time it gets to them, it kind of loses its, fast pace, and it kind of loses its like game realism. So sometimes I may even have to do, hey, we're going to work on this specific scenario because I'm going to be the one that's finishing. I'm going to, signal to the crosser that I'm going to go near post or far post, and it's just going to be me finishing just so we can get quality reps. It turns into a fitness session for me because I'm doing finishing for 4 goalkeepers, but it helps me out. And at the same time too, I feel like I'm getting them quality reps. But if I'm on a turf field or I'm on a nice grass field with my college guys, which I was last year, and we have specific days where maybe a down day or we have 2 games till our next match, and the goalkeepers that didn't play, I have them for a full session while our starting goalkeeper rests, then I can have a session like this where it's, guys who are competent with their feet can actually finish and we're on good field. But at the same time too, we have specific focuses of what we want to do. So that's been hard for me, is that trying to do too much and asking too much of the other goalkeepers. But at the same time, too, it's like I should be asking, like Memo said, even though you're not a part of it, you got to work on your foot skills and finishing. And you're going to be in the professional setting where you're going to be asked to finish. So me as a goalkeeper coach, I can't give you a false environment that when you step into a session, you're not going to be involved. So that's where I'm kind of in between right now, where I'm just being patient for those fields, and nice fields to open up. But at the same time, too, giving those goalkeepers something to stimulate their mind when they're not in the goal.
Yeah. It's true.
One thing I want to bring up, though, Omar, and, I don't want to, be derogatory in any way whatsoever, is that aren't these goalkeepers going to have to play in not opportune situations? I mean, Memo, you're talking about when you guys go play CONCACAF Champions League, those fields sometimes they're not the same level of the fields that you're playing in Portland, and the players have to adjust, right?
Yeah, I last year we were in Costa Rica, and then I went to see a game, I think it was Herediano on their own field, to somebody else, to Lemon in Costa Rica. And that day, Aaron High texted me if I was at the game, and I told him that I was at the game. They have to play that game with Atlanta against Herediano. And the field in Herediano, I don't remember, was Herediano? I don't remember the name of the team, to be honest. The field was turf, but it was horrible turf. So, and sometimes in all those Central America countries, the fields are not good, and then you have to get used to. The fields are plain and turf. Our turf is a good field. The Seattle field is a good field, but in Central America, the turf is a horrible field to play, and it's difficult. It's bouncy, it's hard, and maybe it's a grass fields that are very bumpy, and then sometimes you have to deal with it. The way that I grew up in my country, the field was concrete. It was not, you know. And then now we go here where everything has to be. Our training facility, our field is amazing, you know. And then I try to take care of this goal all the time, because I have to move from side to side to make this field, trying to keep this part of the field sharp. And then once we move to this field, obviously, to this space, obviously that I want to do something specific, because they have the lines and they can see the real space of the goalkeeper. But at the same time, as Omar says, it's challenging for us when we work on a 1v1 training sessions, because we are in spaces where it's very difficult to have a good, you see, maybe you made this pass in those fields and the ball is bumping, and then when this guy takes the shot, the ball goes all over the place, and we're losing, we are losing rhythm. And when once in the training session, the goalkeeper session, you lose rhythm, you know, it's difficult to be sharp and at the end of the day. So
yeah.
You know, but one thing I heard this from a goalkeeper a while back, and I forgot who it was, but they told me the reason they were so good at improvising is because they grew up on fields that were uneven, and because they were uneven, it taught them to deal with different types of bounces and different types of deflections they didn't expect. So once they got to the college level, the speed of play was no issue for them in regards to deflections and rebounds and all that, because they had been dealing with that their entire lives. So, Omar, what we're saying is you're being soft. So.
No, not
I know,
soft,
I'm joking.
No, but at the end of the day, obviously you want to have quality. If I work with these guys in a field that is not good, they will deal with it. You know, they have to deal with it. Even sometimes I like to create a scenario where I put a plastic and I have to hit it hard because it's wet and the ball moves faster. Sometimes, let's say when we are in Orlando, not always we train in a good field. Sometimes we train in a bad space, and then they have to deal with it. And then I made them work there, and they work fine. You know, it's how you approach to things sometimes, especially with these guys that is about quality and improve day by day, because is our business. You know.
Yeah.
So on this one,
go ahead.
Tell me.
No, go ahead.
So on this one. Mm-hmm.
Well, I was just going to say, go ahead.
Sorry, Mike. So
no, it's okay. It's the Zoom delay. Sorry.
So this one is a pass, and now he go across, and now he has to go across, and then now he has to make a foot save. See? So it's a little bit what we were talking about, the
improvising.
Memo, do you tell him that he has to make a foot save, or you just say deal with it? Okay.
No. I can. It's hard for us to say no. You have to use your feet. No, it all depends on the scenario. Sometimes the shot is so close to you that the easiest part to go is your feet. If sometimes, as you can see, a lot of times goalkeepers get scored, got caught in two minds, or feet or hand. And there, that becomes a problem. So a lot of times we do exercises where they may save with their feet. A lot of times we make exercises where they may save with their hands. And a lot of times you have to make the save no matter what, especially at this type of exercises where you're changing direction from one side to the other, and the shot is so close that you're running really fast to the other side. The ball goes to the opposite side. So I always say, depends on the scenario. Other situation that I've been looking and I've been looking sometimes, someone from England, I don't remember who was it, that the goalkeepers in England, a lot of times make a lot of saves with their feet, let's say the hair, all those things, all those type of goalkeepers. But a lot of times the goalkeeper also got cut too low. So once you got cut too low, maybe you prepare yourself for a hand save. And once the shot goes over your head, you will miss the save. So always trying to keep a balance, not too low, not too high, that if it goes low and you cannot go with your hands, you will make the save with your feet. And if the ball is high, also you can go up and make the save with your hand. You know what I mean? So always trying to keep a balance. But on these days, we are scouting all the times the goalkeepers, and then it's not a secret. Everybody's scouting everyone. Sometimes we go and see a goalkeeper that he likes to be too low. We just shoot over his head. Or he's too high and he has difficulties on the low ball. We just shoot low. But it's not a secret, you know? So we have to have, as I always say, resources. And when we get caught in those moments, we must have to make the save because the ball is close to your body, and then something has to come up of your resources to make the save. You know,
Memo, do you use percentages like with like the analytics that they give you and the percentages of score, you know, how many 35% are scored here and 40% here or whatever from a cutback scenario? Do you use that when you're putting your session design together for something like this?
No, not always.
You
no,
don't? Okay.
I don't. I know it's really difficult to keep track of it. Because you need someone next to you to, you know, help you to those scenarios or have a proper program to have it. I don't have it. No.
Okay.
I cannot lie with that. No.
Okay.
So let's finish with this clip.
Okay.
Now, see, he's close to him. And he knows he can go down with his knee, but he deal with it. You go to the next one. He made the save. So that's important, you know. It's important for them to understand, and they're gonna get scored on training. And it's not a big problem. They just deal with it. That's it, guys.
Amen.
Anything else you want to see?
That was amazing. That was great.
That was awesome. I mean, honestly, we were just sitting here. We're like, we got a session in. We got a video session in for free. How much I have to Venmo you, Memo, for that right there. No, man. I mean,
it's a pleasure, guys.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, we absolutely love that. I mean, you know, I mean, it's one of those things when someone like yourself, you know, who's coaching at the level that you're at, is willing to share that type of content, because honestly, like, I mean, Omar does a great job of posting videos and everything like that, but you know, we can't get we can't get your sessions, you know, we don't have the access to that stuff. So when you're willing to share that stuff, you know, with the goalkeeping community, I mean, it really means a lot. And it makes me think, and I think something that Phil brought up last week, which was really important, stuck to me, is that every time you're having a discussion, is that just keep your mind open to just thinking about alternatives and, you know, trying something different or how someone else sees something, because you might find something about yourself that you didn't even recognize about your own sessions. And sometimes it just takes having a conversation with somebody, whether it's us here right now, or just, you know, if you're somebody listening right now who goes to your field tomorrow and just starts having a discussion. I know Omar and I, we have this happen to us all the time when we're just talking, you know, and just something just comes out of thin air, you know?
For sure.
Yeah.
I think it's important. It's important, guys. Let's say one of the best things happened to me after I take the course last year with the pro license, goalkeeping pro license. That we were 9 coaches. The integration of everyone was amazing. All of us share different situations that we have to deal in our training sessions, and it helps each other as a people, as a person, as a goalkeeper coaches. Because at the end, all of us suffer different scenarios, different frustrations, different things different experiences, and then we share those experiences. And that helps you to grow up as a coach. You cannot be so stubborn that you have to say you have you the man. All of us suffer different scenarios, and we have to deal with it. And for me, sharing with you, with all the guys that are listening us, is important, because this is not easy. All of us have different things to deal every day. Even when we were in Orlando, was not easy. It was not easy, and then we deal with it. And all of us has to get the best of it. But we were thinking, we were 3 months, almost 4 months at home doing nothing, just do Zoom videos and meeting on Zoom with the players and not training. And now we are here. We have to take the best of it, and then we did it. So it's important that always as a goalkeeper coaches, trying to humble, learn from everyone, listen everyone. Obviously, as I say, have your own style and learn from everyone. I learn from all of the guys. I'm from South America, and I came to this country, and I'm learning how it works here. I learned from the guys from Europe, and I learn from everyone.
Yeah. I mean, you brought up a really good point right there. And I know, Omar, that's something that you've kind of really been trying to stress to people is that don't get stuck in your ways. Don't get stuck in like, oh, I only fall, this is the type of goalkeeper training. This is my methodology or whatever. And I'm not going to look at something else. And I know you had been trained in a specific methodology. And because of that, for so long, you had been, closed off to other opportunities because you had been so told that, this is the only way to do things. And as you got older, you recognized, oh my gosh, there was a whole world out there that I never even experienced.
Yeah, no, I think that was it. I mean, I was very Latin American, South American style growing up. And then I had a goalkeeper coach with the Galaxy Academy who was like, yeah, I've told you a story a bunch of times. How many Mexican goalkeepers in the Premier League? And I'd be like, none. He's like, okay, well, you tell me which way is the right way to do it. You see Tim Howard, you see Bradford, you see Americans in the Premier League, and that's the right way to do it. So this is how we're going to do it, Omar. So changed my mind, and I had a perception that the American style, the European style was the only way. Then I got into coaching, and I realized that as long as a coach can tell me why they're doing something and what's the use of it, doesn't matter I'm sure it matters what they're doing, but if they can show me why it's relevant to the game, I'm going to be open, and I'm going to try and take notes from it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the awesome things about this, about this platform right here is, coaches from Japan. I mean, places where with social media now, the fact that we can have these conversations. I mean, Memo, even just yourself right now in Portland, and we're hundreds of miles away. I mean, we can have this conversation right now. Just I really want to stress this to all the young goalkeeper coaches out there. Utilize this is the best time to be a goalkeeper coach. The resources we have to communicate with each other and learn from each other. It's never been this good. It's never been this good, and really, really take advantage of that. With that being said, Memo, before we go right here, and first off, thanks for taking over an hour and a half of your time. I know you guys had a late game last night. You had training early this morning. You've got family responsibilities. You're in the middle of a crazy season. Congrats first off on the championship. That's huge. If anybody here wants to reach out to you, if anybody's been listening, where's the best place for coaches to reach out to you on social media? As he mutes it, so we'll wait until the mute comes back off. So, and I'll repeat that when Memo comes back on here.
Okay, sorry guys.
No worries, man. Everything good?
Yes. My wife is in the treadmill.
Oh, gotcha.
And the bike.
Gotcha. Well, I was going to say that if anybody out there, thank you first off for taking all the time. And then if there's anybody out there, any young coaches out there who want to get in touch with you, where's the best place for them to reach out to you?
I guess my email is the best way is gvalencia@timbers.com.
Okay.
So you have my email.
Well, I mean, that's brave of you. You're probably going to have 40,000 goalkeeper coaches who are gonna send you emails after this.
No problem. I was, how I can say, when I started my career I retired playing soccer at professional level and start coaching. Maybe I was thinking that one day I'm gonna be coaching in the MLS, but I didn't think that way. And I start learning how to train kids and learning the language and improving day by day. Took my courses, trust the process. And when we were in Cosmos, we were a couple of times Gio has meeting with different coaches to take a team in the MLS. It never happened until 2018 happens, and now I'm enjoying my time every day because it's where we are right now, and that's what you never I came, as I said, I came to this country, but I never thought I'm gonna be coaching one day in the MLS until it starts coming a reality. Start coaching the national teams, working with different ages, different goalkeepers, and I enjoy every single time when I work with those guys. And now I'm here, and it's the way it is,
Yeah. Well, and again, man, yeah, keep up the great work, guys. And remember, you can always reach out to Omar Zeenni at Pro GK Academy. What is it, Omar?
Underscore.
No, I'm joking around. Everybody knows who you are. At Pro GK Academy _ guys. Check out all of Omar Zeenni's stuff on YouTube as well too. You got more videos coming up. I know you got the coaching mentor program starting back up. Remember, guys, if you have a guest suggestion or topic suggestion, contact at Inside the 18. That's the number 18media.com. Guest suggestion, topic suggestion at Goalkeeper Podcast as well. Shout out to everybody that's been saying great things about Memo. I know we've been trying to get you on for a while, and your schedule's been crazy. So again, I really appreciate you taking the time. That is all the time on Inside the 18, and we are out. Later, guys.